Yo, what's up? What's good?
Bobby,
What's good?
Tuesday, March 11th. TMH boys,
Taco Tuesday.
let's freaking go. We got a full house today. We are well
What's going
represented.
on, fellas?
Bobby
What's
was
up, CJ?
good. Was good.
Spence,
Everything, brother. What's happening, man? Good to see you guys.
good to
Oh
see
yeah.
everybody. We got Terrence there hiding out in the back like a boss. He might make an appearance a little bit later. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But
He remains in the shadow realm.
yeah, a lot of excitement over here. The channel's growing. We're getting more views, a little bit more exposure. Um, we got folks engaging. We got people watching. Freaking happy with where we're at. And you know what?
Sir, yes, sir.
If you're new to the channel, definitely make sure you come. You check us out Tuesdays. We're streaming every single night, 8 p.m. about 8 p.m. Eastern. Just talking comic books, TVs, movies, entertainment, sports, video games, anything going on right now. Um, but yeah, so it's good to be back here. And I think we got an exciting show for you guys. A lot of exciting news coming out right now. I know CJ's super excited to get on this first topic. Before we hop in there, anybody got anything to share? Any housekeeping items? Nah?
Housekeeping. Not. I think I'm good.
All
I think
right.
we
All
okay.
right. Cool.
Only to say to all the viewers that have been tuning in, and to those that have even shared your comments, thank you and God bless you. We appreciate you. We're just getting started, but we plan on doing this for a long time.
Yep.
So we want to see y'all. We want to hear from y'all. We want to know what you think. If we missed something, clue us in so we can bring it to the light.
I'm happy you said that. If I say something off base, out of pocket, or something, throw it in the comments. Shoot us a message. I don't,
Oh yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
we human.
everything about comics here, right? I'm a comic book lover. CJ, he's
Absolutely.
carrying us. Sure.
Well, I grew up on those comics and cartoons, and you'll hear me say it all the time. Don't matter how old I am, I'm a big old kid at heart.
Yep.
So you'll never really see me grow out of that phase. I'll take care of my responsibilities, but I mean, especially as we growing older and having kids and raising kids, we still participating in kids stuff for our kids. So again, and also back to the Bible. The Bible said the purest way to get into heaven is to maintain the heart of a child. So, uh, and I don't think that really just means innocence, man. I think it means to enjoy life and have fun and always see the good and always try to keep things as lighthearted as you possibly can because tough times are going to come about,
Yes.
you know.
100%.
so
I feel like
so keep it as
being,
light as you can.
I feel like, sorry to cut you off. I feel like being a kid, being happy, like feeling overjoyed, it's like underrated, man. Like people want to keep that stuff in. Like let it out,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. You got to let it
Good.
out.
Awesome. All right. So let's dive right in. We're starting a little bit late here. I'm going to share my screen. And I think we touched on this last week. I think we did. I'm sorry. My memory's kind of shot. But all right, let me see here.
Well, if we're going into what I think we're going into, we alluded to it because it was coming that night as we were taping the show.
So yeah, I'm pretty sure we touched on this last time. It's going to happen, right? There's going to be bigger topics that move over into the next stream. But it
Yes,
sounds
sir.
Disney got a hit on their hands because, bam, their biggest premiere this year. Oh, it's not showing.
That's all right.
Anyway,
We
they
can
had
still
seven
talk
point
about it. Well,
they had 7.5 million people tuning in, and so you know, if you ask me, that sounds like a pretty successful thing. You get 7 million people doing anything. That's moving numbers.
Proven that what they thought that they had as a flop on Netflix was not a flop. Daredevil Born Again is back with a vengeance. The people loved it when it was on Netflix. They loved Luke Cage. They loved The Punisher. I mean, I'm not so sure it was a little less of the positive feedback for Jessica Jones and Iron Fist, but then once they joined together for the Defenders, it was a big thing. This Daredevil, and again, they're going to start off a little slow because they're going to catch you up with the story, right? But it gets right into the action. Uh, if you haven't seen the two episode premiere from last Tuesday, it airs every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern time on Disney Plus. So again, I'm gonna say it again. The new episode is out tonight. I'm turning right to it tonight. Go back. Can you go back? I wanted to go back to the character because they are showing, and that's what I was trying to tell you before we back screen right there. Him. That's a character that a lot of people really only got to know through the Ultimate Spider-Man cartoon on Disney XD and Disney Plus or what have you. This is White Tiger. Don't ask me to tell you what his real name is. They do tell us what it is in the episode. No, I didn't pay attention to it. In Ultimate Spider-Man, it was played by a girl who was technically supposed to be this guy's daughter. But now they're giving you the original comic book version of White Tiger. That, if you saw, that was John Bernthal's Punisher. So some of the characters that we missed that made that series so great are coming, and some new characters are showing up to make sure that they, keep it nice and spicy for 25, right? They're definitely gonna spice it up, because I don't know if you noticed, and this is canon for the comics as well. Kingpin does pull some Lex Luthor type ish and becomes the mayor, just like Lex Luthor became the president. Mayor Fisk is Mayor Fisk is comic accurate, and it really puts a spin on how the bad guys can manipulate the general public, and very much so land in the spotlight as a good guy and turn the good guys into the villains with that one word. And you'll hear it. If you haven't seen the episodes, he's going to be going after vigilantes. He alluded to Spider-Man.
Wow.
Right? He alluded to people swinging through the city, right, as a vigilante. He alluded to the Punisher, and we already saw Bernthal's face. It was announced that Bernthal was going to be a part. So we're just anxiously waiting to see the Skull show back up and start causing havoc. Because, again, right in the very first episode, they talked about him wreaking havoc already still in the streets of New York. And I'm just sipping, waiting until it happens.
Count the minutes, man. Okay, so this sounds like a very pivotal moment for Marvel, though, right, in the MCU, right, coming off of their heyday, Infinity War and all that. So this is really almost like a reset, and now they're introducing all these new characters, new storylines, new villains. Is that what I'm getting here?
This is them beginning. I don't remember what phase it is. Is it phase 4?
I saw something about Secret Wars. That's the next
Secret
one,
War,
right?
Secret Wars and Doomsday are coming. I don't know if people remember this, but shortly after Captain Marvel, they had, what was it? Nick Fury, or was it? They had a few episodes of Secret Wars on Disney Plus, where it was the Skrull invasion, and it was and they're gonna bring all of that back with the Fantastic Four.
Nice. I'm excited for this. I'm
Right.
super hyped.
Right. So they did see, and what they did was they roll certain movies into certain TV series, and they'll skip movie episodes with certain events and roll other things, and so that the entire cinematic universe is linked together, but in ways that you're not really set to predict. Like much in the way that people didn't see that this Captain America Brave New World was the sequel to Incredible Hulk.
Wait, I didn't realize that was a sequel.
Right. But
How am I
they made sure to link it with bringing back the leader, and that's why he was going up against Red Hulk. They are tying Sam Wilson's events in this movie to the continuation of the Incredible Hulk. But it's also continued from Infinity War and Endgame, because now General Ross is still also President Ross already. So you see what I mean? Like
Yeah.
they're kind of linking several things together all at once now because of how many movies they have. They have to go back and almost like we're doing. They have to sit back and talk about it all to make sure that they're not crisscrossing or glitching the system with some events that they put in the next movie, right? So Doomsday and Secret Wars, like I was saying, they did have a series, a little bit of the Secret Wars, where Samuel Jackson's Nick Fury was the main character, and he was kind of coming out of hiding, and he was still dealing with the Skrulls from Captain Marvel, and trying to help them navigate not having a home world and kind of settling in on Earth and trying to help them find where they're supposed to go, yada yada yada, link link link, right? So now the Secret Wars and the Doomsday is going to bring a little bit more of a link to that. It's also the Fantastic Four should bring a link back to that as well, because again, who is really the Fantastic Four's main consistent arch nemesis? The Skrulls, right?
I thought it
The
was
whole
Colossus.
reason why we, huh?
I'm super off. I said I thought it was Colossus.
Wrong
Colossus.
name. I
Colossus.
know where you're going. It's Galactus.
The big, like giant, like as big as.
Galactus.
Okay.
The size of the galaxy, Galactus. Yes.
And he had that like headpiece type thing. Okay.
Yes.
Look at.
The crown. Yes. Colossus is an X-Men. He's an
Oh,
X-Men.
I should have known that. I just got the
So
name.
it's a real name. That's what I said. You had a good name. It's just wrong name. That's all. we're gonna keep you on track.
Hey, so I'm hearing that. So Dr. Doom, he's supposed to make an appearance, right? They said RBJ, Robert Downey Jr., he's gonna be playing him. Like, how do you feel about that? You guys got feelings on that?
I'm
It's always
go ahead, Spec.
Robert Downey, Iron Man. That to me, I see him as Doom. I'm like, okay, it's not working. Put on your suit, fly the hell out of there. He Iron Man to me, bro. But
Yeah.
Just can't switch over from Stark. Just the way Stark acts and talks, and he slide that shade in there and rich as hell and all this. Just the cool, the clothes he wearing, just all that stuff. For him to go here, it just it doesn't work for me.
That is kind of weird, though. Why would they do that?
Well, according to the rumors, it's just a rumor mill, but social media likes to post this stuff. Supposedly, it's an alternate universe, and these are alternate versions of these characters. So supposedly, if my thinking is correct, he will be Tony Stark, but he will be Doctor Doom.
Wow.
Oh, so Tony Stark's, instead of going this way and becoming Iron Man, he goes this way and becomes Doctor Doom.
Right. We're supposed to get an evil version of Captain America, which would be Captain Hydra, Black Widow, all of these main characters that we've been seeing. We're supposed to see a few of the evil versions from an alternate universe, alternate dimension called out of the multiverse. The multiverse exists now in the MCU, right? So again, dimensional shifts. We've got characters like America Chavez who can just punch her way into a different universe dimensionally. You know what I mean? So these things are starting to come about. The same way they're showing you that from Multiverse of Madness, when they went into another dimension and you saw John Krasinski as Reed Richards in Fantastic Four, but you also saw Patrick Stewart playing Professor X again, sitting up there on the Illuminati, you know, in the Illuminati Council. That's what, and they brought Black Bolt. That was the same Black Bolt that was on the ABC series of Inhumans. That was a short series that came on right after Agents of Shield when that was running. I don't know if y'all remember that.
I remember that. I wanted to watch that. My family wasn't into it though, and so I got like vetoed. But
right,
is that worth
They're
watching?
gonna make you grow up. Inhumans, not really.
No,
Agents of Shield, 100%.
Okay. Yeah. So
I mean, if you could watch Inhumans for research purposes, right? So this same guy, they brought him back to play Black Bolt again, right? To make sure that you understood that the ABC series, Agents of Shield and Inhumans, is still canon to their Marvel universe. They dressed him better. They dressed him like crap on the TV show.
They didn't have
like
that big budget.
Right. It was like, did y'all not want to negotiate the budget first before you did this? Come on.
It's too TV.
But then if you go look at his character from Multiverse of Madness, he's got the headgear with the thing in the front, which is really that symbol that was on his chest in the picture. That's his antenna. Right. So he's comic accurate in the movie. But just to show you, they keep bringing back these familiar characters and they want you to see it. But what I was getting at as well, multiverse. John Krasinski was Reed Richards. What's my man name? The Spanish guy. Come on. He's been in Pedro Pascal is playing Reed Richards in the new Fantastic Four movie, and we've already got a lot of looks. If you want to pull that up, where I want to say I know some of the other characters as well. He's the most famous one. Everybody else is, I think, an up and comer type of actor. But the biggest hinge on Fantastic Four when it comes out is, again, they went and got nostalgic. The same way I was telling you last week about the way they drew Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man to have the nostalgia from the old 60s and 70s vibe. They did the same thing. These guys are wearing their 60s uniforms, the light blue with the white.
I'm glad you brought that up.
There.
What do y'all feel about that? Like, for me, like, I saw the previews of it and it just didn't excite me. I was like, wow, they dumbed it down to me, because I'm looking at Silver Surfer. I'm like, okay, where can it go after the Silver Surfer? Because that shit was so crazy, the stuff that he can do, and now you reverting back, like you going backwards. For me, it just didn't. I saw the previews. I was like, you know what? I don't even want to see this movie. And I'm a fan of Fantastic Four, But when I saw that, I was like, with the robot and all that stuff, I'm like, nah, man. It just, I was looking
I think
for
it's fooling you.
Huh?
They're bringing those characters back because those are old characters from the original comics. That's what I'm saying. But I think the graphics, I think the look, I think by the time they're done and it's polished and it's on the screen, your jaw's gonna drop.
I hope so, because once again, Silver Surfer left me up here like, okay, crazy.
Yeah,
And now
he was supposed to.
That's from like the 2000s, right? Did they have a movie? He was in one of the movies, I think.
Yes, the second Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Rise of the Silver Surfer. Absolutely. Voiced by the great Lawrence Fishburne.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was so, man, just that whole, it was crazy. I don't see how they can go back and top that movie. Silver Surfer's like swallowing up everything. Then you got this other world coming in trying to eat up Earth and everything. I don't see how they're going to go retro and top what they just did. I don't. I'm going to have to let y'all tell me, then I'll go see it. Because I'm going to see it right up top.
Have you seen the new Captain America?
The new one? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay. So you see how the glacial mass that they are fighting over is the celestial that was supposed to be born and blow up the earth from the Eternals.
Right.
So you see the scale he's on, how big they're making it. Like to get there, they had to show you so much land mass in order to show you like how big, you know what I mean? Like he's the size of a country. Like they're supposed to be showing you Galactus. You see how you didn't get a chance to see Galactus in Rise of the Silver Surfer? You're supposed to be able to see Galactus this time.
Gotcha.
So again, my dog, your jaw gonna drop.
I hope so. I really.
They just bringing back those old school characters for the nostalgic purposes. They're doing it because they can. They're doing it to show you that they can take this back into the '60s with and they're doing because the old school cars. That's like shoot to me they're challenging the heights of their creativity by bringing the '60s look into 2025 and then still giving it 2025 crispiness. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just gotta see it, man. I mean, because I'm once again, you going back old school. Old school can't come with the new gadgets, with the new this and that. You gotta stay old school.
Hey, this is what I'm trying to tell you, man. Social media, I think these guys are very smart. You see how they've been talking about the new Superman and how his costume looks sucky and all that kind of stuff. But then at the same time, they done leaked a couple photos where digitally they was like, once they polish it, airbrush it, digitally put him on screen, he gonna be because he's actually bigger. The dude is bigger and more swole than Henry Cavill.
Mm-hmm.
The dude is more muscular than Henry Cavill. The dude got swole. David Corn sweat cat. But then the suit, they kept leaking you pictures of the suit that look cheesy. It ain't gonna look like that on the screen. They fooling you.
If the dude is bigger, that goes with the time because everybody now is into working out, doing this, and everybody buff, everybody trying to get that. So by them making this person bigger, to me, that's okay. Well, yeah, the suit might look older, but it's a bigger dude. Oh, now they keeping up with the time.
Yeah, he taller and closer to the size of Christopher Reeve used to be, and like guys like Brandon Routh, like them dudes. Like people forget, like Christopher Reeve was like somewhere between like 6'4" and 6'7". Like dude was tall.
Was he that tall? No way.
Dude was tall, bro.
Damn.
Don't let me lie to you, but dude was tall. That's why I said somewhere like 6'4". Is it just back then they didn't demand that you be swole like that. You know, right. that wasn't the look.
When the look, right. Gotcha.
But now, thanks to Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds coming out looking all ripped up and jacked up.
Hey, that's one
You know
thing
what
I
I
got
mean?
brought up Wolverine. Hey, like, I don't like how they made him hella tall because we know he's short as hell in X-Men.
Right.
That's the
Dude,
one. That's the one adjustment that I saw that I was like, I had to accept it. But
I
at the
mean,
same time, there
legit. I
are
like
a couple of guys that are shorter that could have done the job very well. Like Tom Hardy is shorter, and he could have done the job very, very well. Tom Hardy's only like 5'6",
Evan,
5'7",
yeah.
something like that.
That
Like
would have
he
been
would have
better.
looked more
Would have been,
comic accurate
yeah.
on screen, but at the same time, I think Hugh's face card being made into Wolverine laid into it best. Like you just believed him being Wolverine more than the rest of them.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like even in Daredevil and Wolverine, even in Deadpool and Wolverine, when they showed you the Cavalry, I was
Right.
like, he looks good. He don't look like that nigga
Right.
though.
Hey, I did want
You
to say
know,
my on Fantastic Four. I think it looks cool. I think for a casual fan, it's nice to get a new like refresh, a revamp, and then of course hitting on retro, right? So that's like that 50s, 60s. I'm getting Jetsons vibes, the Jetsons. And so
right,
I think it's just again MCU trying to do a lot, right? And so they're building out these different franchises, trying to find some storyline to connect them all, but
right.
have them
Now,
be separate franchises on their own. So they're trying to build up each one while connecting them.
if they're gonna do that, then I what you just said then made me think of something. They're showing this retro stuff. That could be, oh, at the beginning of the movie, this is all this retro, but then it morphs into
Yeah.
from what you just said. If it does that, then I'm a fan of it. But if it stays retro through the whole, because I'm just still trying to figure out if you're doing retro stuff, you can't have all the technology and all the stuff that's going on in this world now. To me, my brain is gonna be like, okay, this movie is slow because we're used to all this graphics, AI, all this stuff now, and now you're trying to go back. They running slow. They
That's what
not
I'm saying. I think they doing a unique job on this particular one of doing that 60s style and still giving you future. Yes. I
Yeah.
think they still gonna put that technology in.
okay.
You
They
just gonna have that. You just gonna have that look and that style. It's gonna look so good on screen, bro. I
Yeah.
promise you.
I feel like it's gonna look crispy, man. Like real nice, real clean, airy. And then I wouldn't be surprised if they came out with some new fits too, right? Like
Ben Grimm with the big ass eyebrows, the big, classic comic book accurate, and that's what I'm saying. Ever since that technology, and because let's face it, and this is where I'll side note highlight to one of our viewers and one of our commenters. He wanted to call me out respectfully so for not mentioning Blade the other week when we were talking about how Iron Man in 2008 kind of started these glory days, this golden heyday for the MCU. But I was right. Robert in '08 started this golden heyday that we are in right now. Everything before that got a lot of criticism except for Blade. Now, what I will say about Blade, because it was the best movie out of all of those to to come out, and it did. It did start the comic book movie craze all over again. It did that. It reignited the old Superman Batman flame.
right,
Right?
right.
It did.
I got a co-sign.
Success in that.
I got a co-sign there because I think what did Marvel have? They had Fantastic Four, X-Men was popping off, but they had Fantastic Four, they had Hulk, right? And other than X-Men wasn't even under Disney because it was under Fox at that time, right? Like they had
Right.
exclusive,
Spider-Man with Sony. Right.
like a whole nother situation. And hey, don't judge, don't kill me, man. I didn't even realize Blade was Marvel until like 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's
I
because That's because Wesley Snipes took it and did it all with his own money.
Yep.
Amin Ra Films and
Oh, yep.
distribution. That's why he's so rich.
There you go.
That's
I
how
didn't
he
even.
got so big.
Yep.
That is how you get big. You
Shout
bet
out
on
to the GOAT.
yourself. Yeah.
That's why Wesley's the GOAT of all of this Marvel stuff. Now, shout out to my guy. If you want to call me calling out that Wesley ain't the GOAT on that, you're right. Wesley is the GOAT. He the OG. He the
Right.
Jordan. And if you go back and look at them Blade movies, out of all of the movies from the early 2000s, the X-Men, the Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four, Blade is the only movie series that will translate and be good right now compared to these movies that we already seen, that we've been watching.
But so you got Blade, and then you got, I don't know the order, but you got like Fantastic Four, you got Hulk, Fantastic Four, Rise of Silver Surfer, and then all of a
I
sudden
think
Iron Man.
X-Men and Spider-Man. Wasn't it
Oh,
X-Men and Spider, or was it Fantastic? Like all of those first movies came out kind of close to the same time. The first Spider-Man, the first X-Men, the first Fantastic Four.
I mean, it felt like 98, 2000 to 04, you know what I mean? But then it wasn't until
Yeah,
Iron Man came in when they introduced like the suit and the weapons and
the comic accurate looks and
yeah, and like
how good the technological graphics and man, yes, that's what I was saying. The
Space Jam.
golden era that we are in right now of how good of the reason why they were able to give us Guardians of the Galaxy and and Endgame and make Thanos look so good and RDJ as Iron Man. Oh wait,
Yeah.
that's what started that, and that's all I was saying last week.
Yeah, I think there's too much time in between. Now, if Blade had come out in 04, then we could have said, all right, maybe it's Blade. Like, and then it had momentum carried into Iron Man and then Avengers and all that. But I mean, that's like 10
Right,
years in between, right? Or if not more.
right.
So,
But what we credit Blade for is being such a dope movie series that he made them start wanting to make these movies. They had to get their thing together. Like, yo, we can't let this dude out rock us with a side character, with a spin-off character off of Spider-Man and rocking. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I sit down and watch the OG Blade one, at least one and two. Right now, to this day, if it came on, I wouldn't change the channel.
Oh yeah, shit's dope.
Blade's legit for sure. For sure.
I'm telling you, you better learn to pull the trigger.
Speaking of movie franchises, and the funny thing is we just touched on this last week too when we were talking like Fast and Furious. Another movie has been confirmed. John Wick
Give it
5.
to me. Oh, bravo, bravo, Skip.
I know
Bravo.
you were talking about this and you were talking about how good it is and watching them all. So when I saw this come through, I'm like, oh, we got to talk about this.
I mean, once you get 3 to 4 super movies where you just cannot die, you're officially a superhero. I don't know if you look, but all over social media, because I pay attention to a lot of the comic accounts and all that kind of stuff on Instagram, and they throw him right in there and say, like, there's a proposal or a scenario that they like to pin up there on social media that says out of a few characters who comes out alive, and they put up was Batman, Daredevil, John Wick, Moon Knight, uh, who was a Lady Shiva, just a few random characters, Captain America, Black Panther, all in a single room, locked in the room. Who's coming out? Who's the one walking out of a fight? John Wick, right in the middle of all of
them. That's crazy. I wouldn't even
them. I'm
think that.
telling you, they have officially lifted, and I think it's because it's Keanu. You know what I mean? Because of the way he elevates characters when he plays them, he made John Wick look like a superhero, like he couldn't die, even though really what you were seeing was uh, a gangster version of James Bond, very much so. John Wick, he's wearing a bulletproof suit, but it's a 3-piece suit.
Hmm.
He can't get shot. He can get stabbed. I don't know if y'all noticed it. He could get stabbed all day. He never really got shot. But he was getting shot up. Bulletproof suit. Kevlar in between the fabric and all that. They showed you when he was getting his suits made and all that tailored. Because, it's some syndicate that they was working for. You gotta remember how it starts. He is a retired mafia hitman. But at the same time, their organization is so big, it's so worldwide and global, it makes it look like comic book style. He's going up against buildings full of henchmen. Whole buildings.
And just wrecking them.
Going up each floor, right? First floor, second floor, all the way up to the 15th floor. He just whooping everybody behind and killing them, leaving blood behind him, right? Just he comes away with a few scrapes and bruises on his face and his knuckles, but he done got stabbed 2 or 3 times, but no shots. Everybody had a gun, but he ain't get shot. Superhero.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are putting their money on him to be the one walking out alive. I'm telling you, everybody's like, if it's weapons, John Wick and the Punisher coming out alive. If it's no weapons, well, they still give John Wick a shot. But then, it goes to people like Daredevil and Spider-Man and Batman and Shang-Chi and stuff like that. Because they post these scenarios up several different times with several different characters. Just for fun, just for giggles, right?
Who you guys like? You put them all in a room. Who you taking?
Based on the reality of the lore, if I was to translate the lore of everything that they've got going on, Shang-Chi.
Wow. I'm gonna have to go Blade.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? They never threw Blade in one of them rooms. If they threw Blade in one of them rooms, I'm putting my money on Blade too. I give you that. Only if Spider-Man is in the room do I not put my money on Blade. If Spider-Man's in the room, my money's on Spider-Man every time.
Wow, shut up. Spider-Man?
Spider-Man is one of the OG greatest. Spider-Man is goated like Jordan, bro. What? Wow. You kidding? He punched the Hulk into space.
This is why we
Spider-Man's strength is one of those that has been scaled up and down to level in the comics the same way Superman's has.
Yeah.
He's always as strong as he needs to be to win.
Wow. How about you, Spec? Who you like?
Blade all the way.
We going Blade, baby.
All the way. Blade.
Just keep in mind, Blade is a Spider-Man side note.
What about
you ain't got Blade if you don't have Spider-Man? Yeah, they played him in the movie. Spider-Man could have whooped his behind.
Could have whooped who?
Captain America.
Really? I feel like they buffed him in the movie, man. It was like I could do this all day. You know what I mean? And it was just like
they buffed Captain America in the movie.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I feel like they buffed him. So like
they did.
I never thought he was that
cool.
They
buffed him up. They buffed him up. They elevated him. Yeah.
Super buffed, right? Yeah.
And they toned down Spider-Man to be inexperienced so that he could get the better of it. Because if Spidey was the thinking Spidey that was running his own show, what you think he gonna do to that shield when you throw it?
True.
Get that out of here. I'm webbing that up. That's in the corner. What? Yep. I web my book bag up in the corner every day. Smile for the camera while I beat your ass.
But sometimes the webs don't hit. He ain't accurate all
Only
the time.
When they run out. Only when they run out.
Hey, well, that's the case. You run out, Captain America, he's in. He don't never run out.
He ain't he ain't running out of webs before he gets a chance to just take the shield. Captain America gonna throw the shield. Spider-Man gonna web it in the corner. Get that out of here. It's done. You don't need that no more.
Spider-Man gets tired. Oh, I'm tired. And Captain, he
No, we
keeps moving.
don't.
Oh, yes, he
No, we
does,
don't.
man. Come on, man.
Spider-Man regenerates.
Plenty,
Spider-Man has near regenerative healing.
plenty times Spider-Man was like, okay, like just let me quit. But he
How
kept
about? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean
Yeah,
to cut.
fighting 6 people at the same time. You've only seen him get tired fighting the Sinister Six. Now, what he does do, because he's young, he begins scared. He be scared of these dudes.
right.
Hey, what about
Literally.
Doctor
He be
Strange?
scared. Doctor
Sorry to.
Strange, that's a whole different ball game.
How about that?
So I didn't like
You
Captain
talking about
America
the
or Doctor Strange when I was younger. I think with Doctor Strange, he just looked like some old dude, and he had like the red cape that looked kind of goofy, the whole fit. And as a like 9, 10-year-old, like, come on, man, it was all about Wolverine and X-Men, like that type of vibe, not like
yeah.
some sideburns in a cape, right?
Well,
And even Cap,
until a lot of these comic book board games and Harry Potter and Lord of like wizardry wasn't really looked at as high class or top tier level.
Right.
yeah,
So yeah, up until recently, Doctor Strange, Scarlet Witch, Doctor Fate, none of them dudes got a whole lot of respect.
yeah,
They still don't. I think Constantine probably gave him a little bit more respect coming from the DC world because he's a little bit more street level and gritty, and he got involved with characters on a physical level a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with some demons and having some different episodes with some different characters in the DC universe. Like he's involved in a lot of stuff recently, right? And again, all about wizardry with them, the spell. Like Constantine and people say Doctor Strange and Doctor Fate are like parallels of each other because of the Doctor and all that kind of stuff. But honestly, the parallel is more Constantine, I think, because he's a wizard, he's a master of the mystic arts, and he is the way Doctor Strange is like superhero involved more so. Like most of the time, Doctor Fate be staying out of the shit stuff. Most of the time, you can't even get Doctor Fate to help if you go look at the canon in the comic books and everything like that. And the spirit of Doctor Fate is very reluctant to actually do anything. He'd be hiding off in his little tower. Constantine is always battling a demon from hell.
Right. Constantine.
Well, one thing that really surprised me is just how powerful he is, right? Again, so I guess it's coming from a low level character, but just having so much power because he has like the time stone. Like, is that part of him? And so he's able to just basically control dimensions and time. Is that like the deal?
They took one of the gems. See that, and that's where I'm glad you mentioned the time stone because that happens to be one of the cases in this MCU where they fused two different histories and two different backstories.
Okay.
Okay. The original Eye of Agamotto from the comic books is not the time stone.
Okay.
And that is the necklace that he wears around his neck and the gem in it. It's really never even supposed to have been a gem in it. They did that for the movies, right? But it is supposed to be an eye, and he opens the eye and everything. And then again, for the movies, it made it the time stone. No, in regular comic lore, it's the source of just a very, very powerful magical force that can do a lot more than just reverse time. It can conjure. It can force an energy blast. It can let it whatever you can think of magical. The Eye of Agamotto can do, right? Because all it does is increase your strength. in his magical abilities, right? So for the movies, what they did was took one of the six Infinity Stones and hid it in the so-called Eye of Agamotto to make it a piece of the puzzle
Mm.
for Infinity War and Endgame. Right. They did that a couple of times.
How you feel
Because
about
using
that?
the Mind Stone.
Are you a
Well, I mean,
traditionalist? You gotta follow it to a T, or are you open, like, hey, to preserve the new vision, the storyline? Are you okay with them?
There's a part of me that would have appreciated them sticking strictly to the comics because I felt like they could have made that fit. I feel like they could have made that work. But at the same time, if you do make an adjustment, as long as you make it work, then okay. And doing this, linking it the way they did, they made it work. So I'm okay with it.
All right, I love that.
So yeah.
I think
But there's probably loads of people that feel like they should have stuck with the comic accurate and just let it be the Eye of Agamotto. But then I challenge them to wonder where you gonna put the time stone? Where they gonna find the time stone at then in all of these movies that they made to create Endgame, right? Where would you place it if you didn't place it in the Eye of Agamotto? Because that was part of the thing. It's six stones, right? All five knuckles and then one in the middle. Well, they were all hiding somewhere, right? Was it the first Avengers or Age of Ultron? It was Age of Ultron. Remember, Thor gets the vision in the dream or the vision from Heimdall or the whatever, and he sees all six stones floating around, and that they're hot, and that he starts seeing that Thanos is searching for him and all that. That's when he takes off, right, and starts his own thing again on his adventure to see what's going on because he's trying to figure out what's up because all of these stones are starting to reveal themselves. So and it's called again. All right, so yeah, where were you going to put
Mm.
it? Right. So I think just logically, these guys are very very smart. I think they did the 1,000% best thing that they could do to make it make sense in a live action movie.
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. You know what I mean? And the
Sometimes you
comic
do.
book,
Sometimes you really got to do what you got to do.
yeah. I mean, again, my comic experience goes back to the '90s, and then it just kind of ends there, right? And so there's been how many more years of storylines and this and that. So, hey, times change. I feel like I'm more of a traditionalist, but as I've gotten older, I'm just more open-minded because you can't keep everything the same. Like, things change, right? Trends coming up.
Updates, right? Updates and upgrades happen all the time. If you can't ever change, then yeah, then you're never gonna correct any failures. You're never gonna, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
those things just stay, and whatever's not working will just be stuck. And you can't live like that.
yeah.
So yeah, yeah, absolutely. Uh, I do think, yeah, I think they did the only and best thing that they could have done when they decided to merge some of these things. Now, do I think that they could have made some other changes and stuck more to the script in certain areas? Yes, because one way I felt like Marvel should have actually stuck more to the script was in Guardians of the Galaxy 2 when they decided that Star Lord's father was a planet instead of a king of a planet, like it actually is in the comic books. Star Lord is not half a celestial. No, he's half alien And the alien planet that his royalty, his king father
Yeah.
rules is called Spartax.
Mm.
And surprisingly, it sounded like they were running out of creativity when they created the name, because his name's really just Jason. But they put an apostrophe in it and they call him Jason. King Jason of Spartax is Peter Quill's actual father. So yeah, he does have alien DNA and constitution, which is one of the reasons why he's a lot stronger than most normal humans would be, and he can actually deal with the harsh atmosphere of space and all that kind of stuff, and why he was able to actually hold the Power Stone without disintegrating instantly. Yes, it's because he has alien royal DNA, and Spartaxian DNA is very similar to Asgardian DNA.
Oh, damn, man. How you know all this?
Because I watch and I pay attention to these comic books. Again, Guardians of the Galaxy, after the popularity of the movies, created an animated series for Disney Plus. And what do you know? In Guardians of the Galaxy on Disney Plus, they told the truth. And they showed you Jason of Spartax and Quill's sister. Why y'all couldn't have did this? Why couldn't you have made Kurt Russell Jason of Spartax? Probably because they just didn't want to pay all them extras to look like a whole nother planet. But if you go to the comic books, the people that war with Spartax the most is Asgard.
Oh yeah.
So again, just showing you, just like Kree and Skull, the Spartaxians are a elevated race to what humans are. Because as you see from comic book lore, for some reason in these folks' imagination, humans weak as hell.
They are weak as hell.
Or we're so young as a planet that we haven't developed the way some of these other planet intergalactic species have been developing. But have you noticed that in every comic book, in every story, every alien is stronger than humans? We ain't never stronger than none of them.
But we
I
always
never noticed that.
we always winning.
But we always come up with the way to win.
There you go.
Mostly because there's some alien hiding among us that's able to protect us.
Yeah.
Somebody swoops in and takes care of the people and defeats this whole thing. It's not generally because the human race rises up. It's always because there's some savior.
All right. This was an awesome conversation, man. CJ, you're not only a beat god, you are a comic god. You know your stuff.
You guys get the wheels to turning every week.
Oh, super interesting. I wish I could contribute more, but like I said, man, I only went up to the 90s, and then with the movies, like I watched them all, at least like the recent ones, starting with like Iron Man, the golden era of MCU movies.
Yeah.
Man, it's just like the memory's not there. Like we're talking about John Wick. I saw a few of them. Like I just remember him just killing a bunch of dudes in a house. You know what I mean? I'm just saying I enjoyed the movies. I just can't remember all the details. You know what I mean?
You just got to remember the faces of the different, specialty characters that they bring in each movie. Just like with John Wick, it's like, yes, it's a bunch of henchmen getting killed, and then one of them, oh yeah, he had Halle Berry. One of them, oh yeah, Donnie Yen showed up and was one of the guys, and oh yeah, this girl that didn't speak, he had the mute girl. I don't remember what her name is, but she turned around and came to play that woman. on CW for a while. It was funny because they switched and then turned her into a black girl. After a little bit, it was weird. Like they had some changes going on because the whole concept was on shaky ground in the first place, which is they never really should have done it. Like Batwoman is such a side note character in the Bat family. Like you would have done way better. Like how Titans was a success on Max, and then like they got to figure out a way. Like James Gunn is actually going to make a movie for it now. Thank goodness, because we need that. That's a compelling team that would make for really really good cinematic. Nightwing, Beast Boy, Starfire, Cyborg over here translate moving from the Justice League to help with the Teen Titans. Come on now, like did you ever get a chance to see the series on Max?
No,
there's only like a couple of seasons.
But I do have Max now, so I can definitely hop on. I think I tried it. You're talking Justice League, right? The cartoon?
Nah, Titans.
Oh, Titans. No, I didn't see that. The last Teen Titans I saw was this one. Sorry, man. I got a house full of
Teen Titans Go. I knew that's what was coming. I knew that was coming.
Hey, this show goes,
but look,
man. I love this
show. But look, just type in Titans. Type in Titans real quick, so you can satisfy your adult curiosity for it. But I'll tell you, it was great, but then they missed a lot.
What did they miss?
And like just details. Like they actually had Bruce Wayne in here, but he was an old version of Bruce Wayne. And I just think they missed. I think they just missed being able to. They missed time. Like they should have had 2 or 3 more seasons. Like this is a show that should have gotten 5 or 6 seasons to develop a lot of the action events and character development, right? Because we saw Robin become Nightwing in this. We saw the second Robin get killed, come back to life, and become Red Hood. Right? They were satisfying some of that other non-mainstream. Like, come on, can you give us something besides a mainstream Batman Superman arc? Can you find? There's plenty of greatness. The same way James Gunn found with Guardians of the Galaxy, you can be great without having to stick to Iron Man and Thor and Captain America. You can. You don't have to stick with just the X-Men. There's plenty of characters in so many books.
But that's the problem with Hollywood today and money and the way things work is that they keep going on that sequel train where it's just like, okay, we've already established them. They got a fan base. All right, let's go get our 500 mil. And they don't want to put more time into actually investing in the project, getting it as best as they can. And especially like developing a brand new project, because now you got to go find that base. It's a lot harder than, they can just come out with, Superman 10, right? So,
right. So, but that was we're coming up on time, and we haven't pulled up the latest episode in TMH Comics before we slide off, but just wanted to make sure everybody remembered again. As soon as you log off from here, Daredevil came on at 9:00, so it's airing out right now. Go check it out. Episode 3 on Disney Plus now, and then when you're done with that, hop on Spotify or go to Amazon and get the latest TMH comic. And now,
that,
boys and girls.
So on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, you name it, we're there. It's got some
all books available now.
Yep.
True Man of Honor,
TMH Comics. Tons of titles available here. Definitely check it out on Amazon. Grab one, grab two. You're gonna love them.
Grab them all. If you are an avid comic book lover, you will love these.
Yeah. Should we get into
All
one
right,
today?
so let's pick one. Yeah, let's
Which
let's
one?
let's at least put in a couple of minutes of it, right?
Yep. Redemptions, Crucible, Unearthing.
I like it. Let's go.
How about Unearthing the Cosmic Conspiracy? Or did we do that one already?
I don't think we did.
Let's just get into it. All right. Let me
I
make
like
sure.
it.
Give me a second. Let me make sure.
Oh,
Okay, sure.
here. Let me get you ready. Let me get ready just in case if you need backup.
No, I think we're good here. I think we're good.
Okay, perfect.
All right, let's dive in. We're looking at Unearthing the Cosmic Conspiracy by Terrence Hancock today.
Yeah.
You know, where a regular guy gets thrown into this crazy situation.
Yeah, a dangerous one too. Makes you think, what would we do if like we found proof the government's hiding something huge, like about aliens?
Exactly. That's Scott Knight. He writes thrillers, you know, made of conspiracies, and then bam, he's living one.
Interesting choice, right? Making him a thriller writer, almost like Hancock saying, even those guys dealing with the unbelievable all the time can still be shocked by the real deal.
Yeah, and how his life falls apart. It's so good. Drops his book, gets all paranoid, thinks he's being watched. You really feel trapped right alongside him.
Oh, there's this scene in a coffee shop. He's convinced everyone's an agent. Spilled drinks, dropped newspapers, all secret messages. That paranoia, Hancock nails it.
Like the more he knows, the less safe he is. Would you want that knowledge, knowing what it could cost, or would you just try to forget it all?
That's the core of it, right? Truth versus staying safe. And not just for him, it's like a bigger question about us all, you know? How much are we willing to know, even if it makes us feel less secure?
And pretty quickly, Scott realizes he can't do this alone. So we meet Samantha Reeves, this investigative journalist. Skeptical, but she doesn't give up easily.
I get her, you know. At first, she doesn't believe Scott at all. Easy to think it's all crazy, especially when it turns your whole world upside down.
Totally. Thinks he's lost it. But then he shows her the proof, the secret documents, and even Samantha. She's seen a lot, can't ignore it.
Classic, right? The journalist who finds that spark again, the passion for the truth. But Hancock doesn't make her some cliche. She's got her own skills, her own way of seeing things, keeps Scott on his toes, makes him think harder.
Their dynamic is great. They fight, they disagree, but there's respect too. And it grows the more danger they face together, like forged in fire, you know?
Makes you think, would they have ever connected like this if it wasn't for this crazy situation? Sometimes, facing the unknown, it brings people together in ways you'd never expect.
For sure. But we can't forget the bad guy, the system itself.
Can never forget the bad guy, for sure. For every strong
Never,
superhero,
ever.
you need a strong villain.
You have to have an arch nemesis that will never go away. That's right.
I'm gonna throw this.
Spider-Man's got the Goblin. Superman got Lex. Batman got the Joker.
I'll make sure I put a link to the Spotify as well. I'll throw it in the comments.
Okay.
That way, you know, folks are watching these after, not, you know, during the week. And so that way you guys can access it as well. But again, it's on Shopify, Amazon, TMH Comics, Terrence Hancock. Go pick up one, pick up all.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, to all our viewers, it's been an hour. We love you. God bless you. See you next week.
Yep.
See you guys.
Peace.